Greetings and welcome. We are in 303, and we turn now to Craig Conrad's volume Unstoppable, and we now will be looking at lesson or chapter 8, interestingly called The Master Key and the Marshmallow Test. Marshmallow Test. Now, you can go ahead and make a note in your journals if you are looking at chapter 8 of your journals that we are focusing here on a concept called self-discipline. Self-discipline. Let's take a look and see what Mr. Conrad has to say here about this concept. Every kid got one as they entered my classroom that Friday. Some of them ate it instantly. A few asked for permission before eating it, while others wondered what a marshmallow had to do with the Friday story and why I was wearing a huge wooden master key around my neck. Quote, "This master key I'm wearing is the most important key on your keychain," I explained, end quote. The marshmallow is a test to see if you can get your own master key. Today's Friday story isn't about someone else, it's about you, I said, while unveiling a huge marshmallow drawn on the chalkboard with the words, "The Marshmallow Test." Holding Daniel Goleman's book, Emotional Intelligence, in my right hand, I proceeded to explain what the marshmallow test was all about. In 1960, at Stanford University, they performed a now famous experiment. The guinea pigs were a bunch of 4-year-old preschoolers. The experiment was to test what Mr. Goleman calls the master aptitude, which I call the master key. I wanted to see if my students could figure out what it was they were trying to test. One by one, they put each youngster in a room. They gave each plucky preschooler one marshmallow. They were told that they could eat it right away, but they could only have one. However, if the kids could wait for what must have seemed like an eternity for the experimenter to return from his quote-unquote errand, they could have two. What a temptation. One sure to test the self-discipline master key of any 4-year-old. Watching these children resist that temptation must have been hilarious. Some of the kids talked to themselves, covered their eyes, sang, walked around the room, played games with their hands and feet, even tried to sleep. This group of master keyers demonstrated the self-discipline to receive a second marshmallow. Not to be outdone in the comic category was the second group, which grabbed the one marshmallow within seconds of the experimenter leaving the room. Now for the amazing part. They tracked these two groups all the way till they graduated from high school. As you might have expected, the group that had the master key as preschoolers continued to have self-discipline throughout adolescence. They were not only far superior students, they also had SAT scores 210 points higher than the group that acted on when the SAT is the other test many high schoolers take. We take the ACT. This experiment proved that self-discipline is the master key that will unlock the door when opportunity knocks. Knowing the important role self-discipline plays in my students' lives, I wanted to challenge them to discover their master key. The test was as simple and basic as the marshmallow test. The outcome was impossible for me to foresee. I guess I never realized how determined some kids would be. I eventually found out after I challenged them to stop talking the talk and start walking the walk. Let's pause for a moment. A couple of observations. You'll maybe remember that the great Longfellow, the American poet, says in Psalm of Life, let us then, final lines, let us then be up and doing with a heart for any fate, still achieving, still pursuing. And then maybe you'll remember those lines that some of us have memorized. Learn to labor, work, and to wait, patience. The challenge here that Mr. Conrad is giving to us is, again, not will. Anyone can say, I want to graduate. Anyone can say, I want to be successful. Anyone can say what it is that he or she wants to do right away. The question is not will. The question is not desire. The question is sustained will. Sustained desire. Not what I want right now, but what I want tomorrow. and the day after, and the week after, and the month after? That's the real question here. This notion of being able to delay gratification, to put off something in the short term to get something I want in the long term, any number of researchers has pointed out is one of the major keys for success. Here, notice the marshmallow test, the master key, self-discipline. Best of luck with that one. I hope that we can find it, right?